In the late 70s, folks living on Amami Oshima, a remote island in Japan, suddenly started dealing with something they had never faced before, a terrifying predator taking over their peaceful island life. In the quiet, thick forests of Amami Oshima, a deadly hunter was hiding deep under the jungle canopy. But this wasn't a tiger, it wasn't a crocodile, and it wasn't some kind of myth or legend either. It was something much smaller, but way more dangerous in a different way: the habu snake. After a rising number of deaths and serious injuries from habu snake bites, panic started spreading all over the island. So Japanese scientists and authorities decided to make a bold move. They tried to bring in a natural predator to wipe out the snakes. But later on, this decision would be looked at as one of those major "what were they thinking" moments in human history. A move that still teaches a serious lesson about how far human intelligence can sometimes go wrong. By 1979, Amami Oshima, home to around 6,000 people and located in the Ryukyu Islands between Kyushu and Okinawa, was dealing with a fast-growing crisis. The habu snake, a super venomous pit viper species, had basically spread all over the island. In a short time, more than 400 people had been bitten. The habu snake is no joke. Its venom can cause extreme pain, high blood pressure, non-stop vomiting, and if not treated fast enough, it can turn deadly real quick. What made things worse was where these snakes were living. A lot of them were nesting right around farmland and livestock areas. So farmers working in the fields would accidentally step on them and boom, instant bite. And here's where things got even more messed up. Back in the late 70s, the antivenom for this snake only existed in liquid form. And if it wasn't stored cold, it would spoil super fast. But Amami Oshima, being a remote island, didn't even have stable electricity at the time. No proper refrigeration, no advanced medical setup, nothing like that. So the situation got out of control real quick. Farmers, scared of getting bitten, started abandoning their fields. Many left farming altogether and moved to cities just to survive. Slowly, the island started becoming empty and struggling. Seeing all this, the Japanese government got seriously worried. They called an emergency meeting and asked scientists across the country to come up with a solution. That's when one scientist came up with a pretty unusual idea. He suggested bringing in an animal that wouldn't get affected by snake venom and could actually hunt snakes down. The idea was simple: use nature to fix nature. After checking a bunch of options, scientists finally picked their choice: the mongoose, called beji in the local narrative. Everyone knew about the mongoose versus snake thing. They're natural enemies. Once they lock in a fight, it usually doesn't end until one of them is gone, and more often than not, the mongoose comes out on top. On top of that, mongooses are famous for hunting venomous snakes like cobras, and since habu snakes are also venomous, it sounded like a perfect match. Even better, mongooses have a natural resistance to snake venom. So even if a habu snake bit them, they wouldn't go down easily. Instead, they'd keep attacking until the snake was destroyed. And here's another thing: mongooses don't just hunt for survival. Sometimes, even when they're not hungry, they still go after snakes, almost like it's instinct, or even enjoyment. So in theory, it sounded like the perfect biological solution. But there was a big problem. Mongooses are not native to Japan. They mainly come from countries like India, Bangladesh, Nepal, Pakistan, and nearby regions. And the ecosystems there are completely different from Japan's island environment. Still, Japanese scientists went ahead and imported around 30 mongooses from India and released them on Amami Oshima. They believed this would finally solve the snake problem. But within just a few years, when the mongoose population grew from 30 to nearly 30,000, scientists were completely shocked. Even worse, they realized the mongooses weren't really doing what they expected. Instead of hunting habu snakes aggressively, they showed almost no real interest in them. And the population problem didn't go away. In fact, both snakes and mongooses kept increasing. The main reason? Timing. Habu snakes are mostly nocturnal. they come out at night. Mongooses, on the other hand, are active during the day, so their paths barely even crossed. And when mongooses did encounter snakes during the day, they often didn't bother attacking them much. So the whole perfect predator idea completely fell apart in real life. But then another problem started growing. Since there weren't many snakes available during the day, mongooses started looking for other food sources, and that's when things got worse. They began eating small native animals like rabbits, birds, and other rare species on the island. Bird populations started collapsing fast. Mongooses climbed trees, stole eggs from nests, and destroyed entire breeding cycles. At the same time, they also started damaging crops, causing more trouble for local farmers. In short, the experiment didn't just fail, it created a brand new ecological disaster. Instead of controlling snakes, the mongooses started wiping out the island's native wildlife. By the 1980s, even though only 30 mongooses were originally released, their population eventually grew to around 500 and kept spreading. The locals suddenly noticed something terrifying. Animals they had seen all their lives were disappearing. The ecosystem was changing right in front of them. Scientists quickly realized the truth. The mongooses weren't controlling snakes, they were destroying biodiversity. If this continued, the island's entire natural system could collapse. Then, a new phase began. This time, humans were not fighting snakes, they were fighting mongooses. In the early 2000s, a large-scale mongoose eradication mission started on Amami Oshima. Local teams, wildlife experts, and trained personnel were brought in to remove them from the island. But catching mongooses was not easy at all. They were fast, smart, and extremely hard to track. So the government built a full strategy. Cameras were placed across the island to monitor movement. High-density zones were identified. Special traps were set in their travel paths. Poisoned bait was used in controlled areas, mixed into food they preferred, and trained dogs were also used to track and capture them. Every night, teams went out on raids across the island. This went on for years. Some people might see it as harsh, but the government believed it was necessary to protect the island's remaining native species, because the damage had already been done to many endangered animals. Finally, after years of effort, in 2018, the Japanese government announced that Amami Oshima and surrounding areas were officially free of mongooses. Around 40,000 mongooses had been captured or eliminated over time. Interestingly, snakebite cases also went down, but not because of mongooses. The real reason was better awareness, trapping systems, and improved access to antivenom after 2005. Today, mongooses are gone from the island, but habu snakes and rats still remain part of the ecosystem. After decades of struggle, one thing became clear. Humans did win the battle, but not without consequences. The island's biodiversity still hasn't fully recovered. Some damage may never fully heal. And the biggest lesson from this whole story is simple. Even the smartest human minds can make serious mistakes when they try to control nature without fully understanding it. Because confidence in control can turn into arrogance very fast. And when the natural balance is broken, nature always finds a way to remind us. So what humans do isn't always right. It's a responsibility. Destroying balance today can put the future of human civilization at risk. Thank you for watching the full video. Drop your thoughts in the comments and let us know what you think about this story. See you in the next one.